Good evening, Des Moines. Welcome to the Doc and Lefty program. I am Lefty, coming to you live from the webcast1live.com studios in beautiful, sultry, a little bit warm downtown Des Moines. We're here every Tuesday night from 6 to 7, and I do appreciate the attention and the viewership. We're growing every single week, folks. We are off to the races. We've got the website that I think is pretty much done, but I got to let you know before we get any further that my compatriot, my hetero life mate, my partner in crime, any superlative and expletive and any sort of other nominal adjective that you would like to say about my co-host and cohort, Dr. Patrick Petroche, he is out of the studio tonight. He is on he's on business. He's gone. He's not in town. We had discussed a little bit today when we were sort of putting the finishing touches on the show that we were going to have him Skype in. I do not believe that's going to happen, so I'm flying solo once again. And folks, you know what that means. You know exactly what it means when the good lawyer Lefty is flying solo in the booth, and that means we're going to be talking about a lot of different kinds of things, but primarily we're going to be talking about music, and I've got a very special guest who's coming in. He's running a few minutes late, but that's okay. He's not from around here, and so we can give him a break on negotiating downtown, which can be a little bit tricky, especially when you're trying to get here, because we tuck our studios away in the most out-of-the-way secret part of downtown Des Moines. But a good friend of mine, I've known him for a long time. His name's Pappy Sorellis, and if you guys are listening, if we have got any international listeners out there, this guy is not just a monster on the national dueling piano circuit. And when I say there's a circuit of dueling piano players, I mean there's about 50 guys that go all over the country. It's more than that, obviously, but there's a certain amount of guys that go all over the country and hit every single room, and I'm talking from California as far east as the islands down in the Caribbean. Pappy does it all, and so he's going to be here. I think that he's probably pulling up pretty soon, and we're going to talk about being on the road, being a working, traveling musician, and just kind of what that does, how that affects you, how that affects your family if you have one, and just sort of the vagaries of coming off the road, living out of a suitcase, probably 300 days out of the year. I know that he takes breaks now to be at home. He's based out of Colorado Springs, Colorado, and I'm telling you that this guy is probably the hardest working dueling piano player that I've ever met. And not to put any of my other friends down, but that's really, you can't really deny that he has a lot of irons in the fire. And so once he gets to the studio, we'll get him mic'd up in here. But while we're waiting for Pappy to kind of make his entrance, and it's always and I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about what's been going on. And a lot of these stories are, kind of a few days old, but some of the big stories that we are worried about as a country or as a nation. I mean, you've got the Snowden affair, being Edward Snowden, our quote unquote whistleblower, has been allowed to have a little bit of asylum in Russia. And you know what? We're going to put off the serious talk because here he is, the man, the myth, the legend, my good friend, Pappy Sorellis. Pappy, how's it going?
What is up, brother? What is going on?
Not a whole lot. How are you feeling?
Are we doing this? Is that
we don't necessarily. I like to stay away from the headphones unless we have a caller, just because I feel like my head dwarfs them a little.
Go ahead, you can cut right now. We can cut right now. I'm gonna have my little son film this. Look at this here.
Oh, right. Well, hey. So which one is this?
This is Marco. Marco, come in here for the interview.
Come on in, Marco.
Yeah, man. Here. And I'll film you. I'm going to film everybody here because we're going to make it part of everything. We got a little documentary that we're shooting later and stuff. So these are the little things, that you can, hey, say hi, son. Hi. There it is, man. Hey. Look, and there's you, Blake.
What's
You're like
happening?
On two screens right now. How cool is that?
It's suitably postmodern at this point. I feel like I'm really getting my bachelor's degree in English and philosophy is really paying off right now, I can tell you. But Pappy, during the intro part of this segment, I was telling about how we're talking about whenever I'm left to my own devices, I inevitably come back to music. I've had bands in here, I've had singer-songwriters in here discussing various different things about being in a band, being on tour, being a singer-songwriter, the patio circuit, guys like me who play solo sets and play covers. But I think that the quintessential sort of cover artist, at least nowadays, is probably a dueling piano player such as yourself. Would you agree with that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, without a doubt. I mean, we play more songs on accident than most people play on purpose.
That's a really good point. And so, how would you kind of characterize your, I guess, the dueling, and this is gonna be the big meta question, but the dueling lifestyle? How would you kind of characterize that as opposed to being like, and I know they have a history in stand-up comedy. But you still tour all over the country at the same kind of thing.
Yeah, both of them led into each other. I mean, stand-up comedy was the first one for me. It was before dueling, and that was a different style of touring because there you don't have plane flights bought for. You don't have nice band houses. That's where you stay at the urine tels, which is urine hotels, motels. Motels more like it, but. That's where I got my first experience with it was road dogging that way. And then the dueling piano way is, I would say, a nicer version of it, but still, I mean, it's when you're working, 50 weeks a year, depending on how many weeks you take off, I mean, that's a lot. I mean, that's 50 weeks, you're just gone. And it's amazing. Like, I think the thing that's tough about the road is the things it takes from you that you can't have that normal people have. And I noticed that when I was in Des Moines last time, I got to fill in the Blue Moon team, obviously desperate, asked me to fill in for their softball team, so, which is okay, and we did it.
I remember there was some fallout from that appearance on the softball field.
Well, it was interesting because, like I said, my heart does things that my mind's like, no, but one of the things in that story was I was coming on to the baseball field and I just saw all these friends and stuff and couples and people saying hi and a bunch of John Deere hats and, just things that I'll never be a part of. It was really, it started hitting me. Now I'm like, I can't do this. I could never join a softball league in Colorado Springs or something. So I think there's wins and losses. I think that there would be an example of a loss, but then there's wins that, you have in this business too.
Sure. Well, we're at the end of our first segment, so we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back. We're going to talk to Marco a little bit about having a dad who's on the road a lot. We're going to have Pappy and Marco here for the whole hour, which we're very, very thankful to have. So please tune in. Continue to tune in if you haven't already. Call in if you feel like it. We'll flash the number on there on the screen here. But also just... If you're an aspiring musician or you have questions or you have comments about being a musician or about what you think musicians are worth, definitely give us a call, shoot us a message on Facebook, and we'll be right back after these messages. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Drink, dance, party. Kitty's is the ultimate dance club in Des Moines. A huge dance floor with room to move, 3 bars to keep your drinks full, and kickin' DJs playing all your favorite dance music. At Kitty's, we've always got your birthday party planned with Birthday Fridays. That's right, when your birthday rolls around, there's only one place to go. Gather up your friends and head to Kitty's, where you drink free on the Friday of your birthday week. Find out more about Birthday Fridays at kittysusa.com. Kitty's, all kinds of people, all kinds of music, all kinds of fun.
Drug and alcohol addiction slowly steals a person's identity, tearing away pieces of their life little by little until one day it seems like the hope of a happy future is gone and there's no chance of getting it back. Here at St. Gregory Retreat Centers, we can assure you that there is hope. Our unique approach to recovery begins with the understanding that the dysfunction and damage caused by addiction can be overcome, not just dealt with. Don't let another day go by. Call St. Gregory today.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. You are here with Lefty from Doc and Lefty. I'm gonna look at the numbers sometime and see if there is this dip that Doc keeps telling me when he's gone, as if people are just tuning in to see him most of the time. Although I'm the guy that brings the show in and does a lot of the talking. So but we're without my.
Where is Lefty?
I'm Lefty.
Oh, you're Lefty.
Doc is out. And he's.
I took you for Doc. Doc is. I figured you were the smart one.
No. Doc is definitely the smart one, but I'm lefty because I'm on the left side of the political spectrum.
Okay.
That was the original hook back in the old days when he did the show the first time. And now, what I think it is that people are just sort of intimidated. They don't want to talk about the other half of life, which is music and dancing and doing all that other fun stuff. But we're here with my good friend Pappy Sorellis and his son Marco. Marco, how you doing?
I'm doing good. You?
I'm doing awesome, man. So this is at least probably your second time in Des Moines, I believe. Correct? You've
it might be my third.
Your third time, and you're born and raised Colorado Springs, right?
Yes.
And you go to school there, and so you pretty much. Am I wrong? Is that you get to do stuff like going around the country during the summer months, right?
Yeah.
And how do you like it so far?
Oh, I love it. We get me and my brothers. They're at home right now, but we get a lot of experiences with my dad. He'll take us places, and it's just a lot of fun.
That's awesome, man. What's your favorite part about Des Moines?
My favorite part is there's this water park. We actually just went there today. I don't know what it's called, but
Valley.
Valley, and we always go there. And recently we've been doing our running and everything to work out and everything, and then we'll go after to the Valley pool and everything, and we just get a lot of fun.
Hey, that's
play there.
No, that's so you're taking to the Valley High School, and
Well, we went to the Valley High School track to go run our mile. We're getting ready for a Spartan race in Colorado Springs in May, and more on that. Trust me, we got material for you, brother. Don't worry about that in this show. But yeah, I took him to. We went and ran the mile today. That's what this whole month we're trying to get the best mile time we can, and then we'll increase that. But what he's talking about, obviously, is we went to the Valley Aquatic Center.
yeah.
And so we went down there. Nice thing there is the old man can go in the lap pool, and the kids they got slides and a lazy river and everything else.
Dude, my favorite thing in the entire world, Marco, are water slides. Water slides and The Simpsons. I'm basically, how old are you, Marco?
I'm 11.
He's 11.
He's 11.
I'm several years older than you, and I think that he's probably more mature at this point. That's not surprising.
He's
though.
well traveled. I don't know, but you're a pretty mature cat there, Lefty.
What I got to here's what I got to say. What I got to say, because I think it's really cool that you're able to do this sort of thing with your dad during the summer. Do you sort of is this something that you look forward to all year, or how many states have you been in at this point?
About like 22, maybe.
22 states.
About that.
That
He's seen a lot of culture.
That's I bet
He's seen a lot of culture.
I bet he has. And I'm sure you can't wait until you're old enough to be able to see your dad perform at some of those places, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
They've seen little bits.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, that's
Like every
probably,
now and then there's some cool bars. I won't name in case they get in trouble, but
Right.
there have been some places that on a Wednesday or Thursday night let him upstairs, and he's actually played on stage with me
really.
at one of the shows.
What do you play?
Drums.
You play the. Yeah.
Plays a little drums and bass. Yeah.
Right on. Well, this kind of segues pretty nicely. You got this family. How old are your other two kids?
14 and 12. He's 11.
14, 12, and 11. So you were a family man established your family in a pretty short amount of time in your life.
Yeah. We kicked it out quick. We wanted to get him out and going and running and going. And then, it's probably been one of the greatest things that could happen, to heal a divorced family, is that, you have these adventures and who knows if we would have been able to do all this had we been, the regular family,
Sure.
So
what I wanted to ask you and have you talk a little bit about is sort of how did you get your start in this, not just this business, but the entertainment business? Because if you guys want to know, first of all, you need to come to, because you're doing the Wednesday show, correct?
I'm doing the solo show Wednesday. Yeah.
If you want to see Pappy Sorellis in his element, at least from the dueling side, and I have to confess that I haven't seen your stand-up show yet.
Right.
But if you come to the solo show on Wednesday at Blue Moon in West Des Moines, you'll see a little bit of the stand-up act, and it's okay.
It's all right.
Just kidding. It's hilarious. But you want to come on Wednesday from, I think they're starting those 9 to midnight-ish or 8 to 11.
Yeah, they're kind of doing it like that.
It's a little different now. But then if you really want to see it go down, you're with Pete Moran and Oren Sands, Blue Moon, Thursday to Saturday.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And I got to tell you, these are 3 of the most talented cats in the country if you want to go and see a dueling piano show. And if you've never seen one, you need to go out. And if you're a fan, now that the East Village Piano Bar has closed. I believe the Blue Moon is the only dueling piano bar in the whole metro.
I didn't even know there was one.
There was, yeah. We could talk about that. But so Pappy is a multi-talented, multifaceted entertainer, and he does the stand-up. He was a radio DJ for a long time, dueling piano player, a self-taught dueling piano player.
Yeah.
So he's not your classically trained pianist, but you'd never be able to tell. So how did you get involved? Like, what was your first foray in the entertainment industry?
I was doing stand-up, and the stand-up road is tough. I mean, it's a lot of road time, and I was married at the time, and the idea on the table, like everything in life, is back then we thought this was the most important thing, of getting the right steps ahead of us, and that was to get out of the comedy. It was hurting a lot of things. Actually, Marco was there's a story. I came home from the road one time, and I was actually out about 12 weeks on the road in comedy, which is, you have to stay out on the road to keep the money making sense. You can't just come back home like you can in dueling pianos. And he didn't recognize me. And that was the first one where it hurt me, where it was just like, okay, I can't have that. And some of them do. Some of those comedians, I mean, whatever you float your boat, some of them like say, see you family, I'm going to get fame. I couldn't do that. And so I came home, and I was talking to a buddy of mine and went back to all the clubs that I knew, and I was going to look to get in with that. And it turned out one of my buddies that owned the clubs, him and his family, says, the talk started, he was going to pay me like $75 a night to walk around his club and entertain, because I had, growing up in the clubs there, I used to dance, and I used to be the only guy allowed to dance with the girls up on the subwoofers, because I was the only guy that did something cool or fun, and so we were thinking that. But then he told me, he goes, I got this bar that we're opening up in downtown Colorado Springs, Rum Bay, and they got this dueling pianos. You should check it out, man. And he was like, God, I wish we could have you there. I know you can sing, and do this and that. And I was like, well, what's that? And always smell an opportunity, because when you're in the entertainment business, you're not going back to the regular world. You're always trying to swing vines like Tarzan, although sometimes you end up on an elastic vine that hits the ground and thuds you back up. But I went down there, and when I walked through the doors and saw the show, my jaw just hit the floor. I saw singing, I saw camaraderie, I saw jokes, I saw pretty much anything I ever wanted to do. And I was like, I just said in my head, I'm going to do that. The only problem was I didn't know how to play piano. So I lied to them, and I said, piano, no problem. You listen, I need to do 30 days on the road and finish up some comedy gigs, which had been a lie. I'd already quit the comedy gigs to save my marriage with my wife, so I've been blackballed by these clubs. So I didn't even have work. I was just eating up the savings account. And savings accounts being very friendly there. But I went to a Radio Shack, and they had a piano on sale for $107. And it was a 77-key junk piano that had a chord book and 50 of the best classic rock songs of all time. And I literally played piano for 12 to 14 hours a day, 7 days a week for 30 days straight to learn 15 songs, which are still junky, but at least it got me on stage. And that's where now I know over 1,500 songs. And
That's pretty amazing. We're going to take a short break here. Stick with us. We've got Pappy and Marco for the full hour, and we got a lot more to talk about. We're going to talk about sort of being on the road, the difficulties, what's good about it, and just being a sort of a modern day troubadour, and what that can mean in a society that has cell phones and Facebook and the whole business. So stick with us. This is Lefty, the Doc and Lefty, webcast1live.com, and we'll be right back.
Bertroche & Associates will provide you with a friendly, caring, and confidential place to find help for mental health concerns. We are ready for your call. We are proud to work with military personnel and their families. Our doctor, Dr. J. Patrick Bertroche, provides a full range of psychiatric services for children, adolescents, and adults in a forthright and informative manner while maintaining a casual, comfortable, and relaxed atmosphere. Our licensed mental health therapists provide individual counseling to children, adolescents, and adults, including couples and marital counseling. Visit our website at bertrocheandassociates.com for more information or call 515-334-9484. Our offices are located at 5525 Meredith Drive in Des Moines, just east of Skate North off Merle Hay Road. Isn't it time to talk to someone? Take care of yourself and your family. Contact Bertroche and Associates.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for listening. We're here with Pappy Sorellis and his son, his youngest son, Marco, who is having a great time in Des Moines. This is his third trip. Pappy, I wanted to talk to you kind of about this. We learned about your history, how you got into this business, and I assume that just from there just kind of took off, and then it was trial by fire.
Yeah, you learn a lot from. You pick up something from every dueling. It's kind of like you ever seen the show Highlander?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. So every time he meets a guy, and if he beats him, I wasn't chopping people's heads off, but
sometimes
you grab yeah,
sometimes,
but you kind of get those powers. You by osmosis you would learn little trills. I mean, a mixture of everything I do on piano came from like 50 different people over 12 years.
So now. I know from hanging out with you and from hanging out with a lot of the other guys that come through here, who are all national acts, nationally touring dueling piano players who play all over the place. How long did it take you to get from your hometown bar in Colorado Springs to making more of a regional circuit, or did you jump right into the national scene almost immediately?
No, it took me a little bit just because I was still doing comedy. I was doing privates and corporates, and there was a mixture. But when the divorce hit, that's when I just needed to get out of Dodge, and that's really when it hit up. I had put the experience for I'd probably played about 3 years in the downtown scene of Colorado Springs and Denver, and done corporates and privates, and then finally I was just looking for consistency. I remember back then just being like, around 2003, it was just kind of like, I'd like to just do this regularly. But, things would pop up and opportunities like they do in life, and especially in the entertainment business. I'd accidentally win, certain jobs. Like I won a Fox Sports dream job, to be the funny guy on a sports morning talk show. Mm-hmm. Why not do that for a year? So, it's been a very Forrest Gump thing. But, I would say I really pulled the trigger after that radio talk show. So, I'd say about 2006, I pulled it on a full-time trigger instead of just the part-time, this, that, and the other thing. So, since 2006.
So you've been and then you've been consistently on the road for the last 7 years, pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
Ups and downs, because you've scaled back a little bit. You've gone full bore for a little while. So talk about some of there are a lot of folks out there who are that work their regular job, or that have their sort of more staid kind of lifestyle. Explain the appeal of the road and some of just like the benefits, or even like the good times had on the road, and why anybody would want to live such a frenetic what's the word I'm looking for? Random life. Yeah, exactly. Unpredictable lifestyle.
Yeah. Through the randomness, it actually gets quite normal in a way. I think that's the way the biology of a lot of things work, is that I would say that take your favorite things about what you have now. Take your neighbor that you love. Take your job, the times you love it. Take the things that you love about what you have now in this town. Take your favorite ice cream shop. Take your favorite place to go eat. Now that's here in your town. Now multiply that in 12 different areas. And now I have 12 different neighbors that I really love to see, 12 different ice cream shops that are good to go see. It's the neat thing about the road is it amplifies it. It amplifies, you still do all the same things that you do because your natural body wants to do that. You still sleep in on some days and still want to meet with a neighbor, and stuff like that. And you will. I get calls. I get text messages. Even last week, 2 weeks ago, I was in Oklahoma City. I got a text message from a guy in Des Moines that said, "Hey, we're having a barbecue. If you're in town, come over," or something like that. So it's the same kind of text message you get in your local town. It's just that I have to fly in to come to your barbecue. So those are some of the differences. But adventures and things, I always say about this gig to my kid, the one reason I like this and take them around is, I may say it a little rough, but I'm fighting Alzheimer's, meaning like in case I ever run into it. What I'm trying to do is fill my brain with a collection of some of the greatest memories I can. So if that nasty disease wants to come up and try to take me in the brain, it's going to have a fight, because there's a lot of data in there, and that's kind of how I look at it. It just as I'm really collecting some great memories, and I've been very fortunate around the world to meet absolutely fantastic people. Some people going through hard times, some people lifted me up out of hard times, and that makes the road fantastic.
So, and that kind of sort of makes me think, Marco, what's your favorite place that you've been traveling around with your dad?
Probably my favorite place would be when we went to Florida, because he has a friend out there that also does dueling pianos.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Brad Heron. He has his own bar called Rockies, and
good plugging, son.
Yeah.
Good plugging. That's how you do.
I should text Brad and make sure that he's listening. But so you got to go to Gainesville.
Yeah, and he used to own this apartment, and then he moved, and now it's a band house, just like we have in Des Moines. So we get to stay there. It's a nice apartment and everything. Also, across the street, there's a pool that we can go to, and also, another pool that we can go to and just go swimming for free. And then there's this amazing restaurant that has like mussels and clams or
Harry's.
whatever. Yeah, Harry's, and we always love to go there.
And I think that I see the appeal, especially for having young kids, getting to do a lot of stuff. Because I know that when I was 11. I didn't know that there was a mussel that was spelled with 2 S's.
Right.
Well, 3 S's, I guess.
It's kind of, you bring up a good point, because they know what sushi is, they know what mussels are, and
And so, Marco, when you are, would you rather be in? I know that when I was your age, my parent, I got to travel around a little bit, because my dad is a teacher and got to give speeches all over the country. And so when I was little, I got to go to like DC and all those bigger kind of areas. And I loved staying in hotels, because hotels are different than a house.
It
was right? Yeah. Do you like staying at hotels better, or do you like staying at band houses better?
I think I like staying at band houses better, because they leave actual pots so that my brother Alex can cook, and he cooks really well. And in hotels, they don't leave that kind of stuff, so you kind of have to go out to the store.
McDonald's.
Yeah, or McDonald's, and I just... I don't want to do
sick
that.
of that. You like the home cooked meal, and you can take that with you. So actually, and I kind of jumped the guy, buried the little bit, but Pappy, we know what a band house is. But I think for yes, we do. But I think for a lot of folks, they're wondering what we're talking about, and so kind of explain a little bit, and also. You used to have a standing gig at the Drury Inn, not a gig, but a standing relationship with the Drury Inn when you come to Des Moines, and they got changed, and kind of explain the difference between hotel living and a band house as far as being on the road.
Well, I think that one of the biggest differences between hotel and band house living is it's funner to do kart races inside a hotel than it is at the band house, which could lead to why we got asked to leave the Drury. But I was undefeated, so believe it or not, no. They both have their pluses and their minuses. I think the band houses come out ahead in that if you're on the road all the time, anything that can feel like home is great. I know staying 2 weeks in Des Moines, it literally feels like it's our apartment. Mm-hmm. I feel like when I come back, it's the way I left it, and it's kind of like that. The band house is a place it should be. Listen, future club owners, it should be a place that's relatively close to the club, and it's got probably like 2 or 3 bedrooms. The band house here is fantastic.
It is one of the
normal band houses are not fantastic. Brad's and Rocky's is fantastic. It's a nice apartment, but there are some that it's just like, shaggy carpets, the cheapest beds you can find, and this and that, which it's smelly, and who knows what the last dueling piano player left for you there,
folks. That brings up a good point. We're going to take a quick break, but club owners, take care of your talent. I'm just saying. Anyway, we're going to
Amen.
We're going to take a quick break. Thanks for sticking around the first half. The second half, we're going to talk about some of the difficulties of being on the road. We're going to get into a little bit of Pappy's documentary that he's filming and some of the things that are going on in his life specifically. But if you got any questions, if you got any comments, if you want to just call in, if you're from what are the folks down in St. Martin? If you're
St. Martin, yeah,
we got international folks that listen to this podcast. So
my gosh, that'd be great.
If you're on the internet and you're listening to us tonight, call in, say what's up, and we'll be right back after this messages from our studio sponsors. Thanks for listening, everybody.
I'm Brian Leach, owner and general manager of Service Legends. I brought along a couple of the home comfort heroes.
Hi, I'm Tammy Wells.
I am Nick Wondershot.
I am administrative manager
I am the senior technician
from Service Legends.
It seems like every good thing, when you feel it to the bone that it's good, there's a lot of hard work put behind it. I don't think that you can fake it and have it turn out good.
You know, if we seem like, okay, that's just weird, it's just a furnace, why would you believe so deeply in a furnace? It's not just that, you know, we want to show the world that you can have good service.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be, it's your home.
You know, it's built into our daily trainings, it's built into our culture, that we're going to do whatever it takes to have each client say they love us, period.
That's why we spend all the hours in the training that we do. And if we guarantee it's going to be a good experience for you, or else it's free, what type of work do you think we're going to do?
There is a guarantee.
Temperature selection guarantee, fixed rider it's free guarantee, comfort guarantee, best value guarantee. All of these guarantees hold us accountable to ensuring that we exceed your expectations. And if for whatever reason we'd fail and we can't make it right, we guarantee all of those guarantees with a 100% money back guarantee.
I mean, if you don't think that your technician can fix it right, are you going to say that to a client? No.
You don't have to worry about having a technician come to your house.
We drug test, background check all of our team members. We put safe people in your home. Each and every one of our service techs, 400 hours a year in training.
You tell it the minute they walk in the door. They know what they're doing, they've done their homework, and they actually truly care about what you want.
Because at the end of the day, you're the person that makes sure I have a job.
They're going to be listening. They're going to want to know what your challenges are. Then they're going to come and give you options, and you get to choose.
If I'm there to help and I make it easy and painless, I did my job right that day.
Well, when it comes to your comfort, safety, and your family, you know, you don't necessarily go buy the most expensive, but you get the most bang for your buck.
Oh, it's worth it, because there's a lot of people that will find a way to get it to work right now and then leave and then come back, charge you again, and the cycle just repeats itself. So when I'm out there looking at the furnace, I want to find why it failed today. How can we change the part today with something that you're not going to have to worry about? Is it worth changing the part today? I mean, you can put a lot of money into a furnace. I can fix parts all day. There's good job security in that for me. But is it the right thing for you?
I get a lot of the phone calls of after the technicians are there. They're just in awe. They're like, wow, you guys are great. I mean, I don't even know what to say. You guys are great. Everything you did was perfect. It was great.
Keep going though, I like this.
Just give us a try. I'm gonna take all the risk.
I've got the time to make this right. I've got the support to make it right.
Just check us out.
And if you don't see the value in what we do,
I mean, fixed rider, it's free or 100% money back.
enough said.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is Lefty with Doc and Lefty. Sans the Doc tonight. He is out of town doing the Lord's work. I can guarantee. He didn't tell me where. He usually likes to tell me where he's going so he can mock me and make me feel bad about always having to be in Des Moines anchoring the show. But you know, this time he's in an undisclosed location. I suppose that if something happens to me, he'll be able to take over the reins and be a heartbeat away from the captain's chair, which is always a good thing to do. Anyway, if you see our number there on the screen, if you want to call, say hi to Pappy and Marco, who are our guests for the entire hour. Call 855-244-0077. And we're talking today about traveling musicians' life on the road. We've got a guy that's been a road warrior for the last 7 years plus in sort of like, and you said working 50 weeks a year. Taking 2 weeks off. Probably a little bit less than that sometimes, at least more recently. But we talked about a lot of the fun stuff, and I've noticed a lot of that myself, the little amounts of my life where I've been able to travel, it's certainly the case. Would you say, are there different areas of the country? Because I know that you've got a pretty close-knit Blue Moon family here in Des Moines, West Des Moines. Are there a lot of places like that around the country, or is Des Moines fairly unique with respect to that sort of, hey, here's our long-lost brother, here's our prodigal son?
Yeah,
How does that work?
I think when you work in a certain towns long enough, or cities or relationships, I do have a few of those. I mean, Gainesville's like that. I mean, when I go down to Gainesville, it's very family orientated. I spend some of my birthdays out in Baltimore because that's where I, really grew up as a dueling piano player. Was there out there, and so Baltimore and DC, it's kind of a homecoming. San Francisco has become one. Now, and stuff. So, there are cities out there, other ones are passerby, sometimes we're just checking the room out, just see what it's like, or I'm curious and want to play a room because there's a certain piano player in there that I really want to play with and see what it's like, or see if I can hang, or, things like that, so it's a lot of fun. But I would say that, Des Moines, I've spent the most time in, and is probably the most, friendly, out of all of them. I would say Des Moines ranks up there. I mean, to me, it's one of the top 3 spots in the country.
Hey, we're Iowa nice, everybody, and don't you forget it. But are there some times where you'll be someplace and you'll meet somebody that's like, hey, that reminds me of that one dude from Baltimore. Or that reminds, this guy is totally just exactly like my friend from Colorado Springs. That happen a lot?
Yeah, you mean like where they think they saw me before? Yeah, absolutely. This happened, definitely.
Hey, we got somebody calling in. So if you guys want to be able to listen to the caller, man your headphones. And I don't. Oh, I knocked mine on the floor, or they're over here. This is why we call this show the flagship show of webcast1live.com. All right, caller, you are on the air.
Hi, Pappy.
Hello.
It's Tracy Lynn.
Hey, Tracy Lynn, what's up?
Nothing. Just thought I'd call and say hi.
Oh, that's not how you doing.
Tracy, welcome to Doc and Lefty. How do you know the man over here?
The Blue Moon.
From the Blue Moon.
Yeah, she actually helped us. We did when the Colorado wildfires came out, I did a charity in Des Moines, speaking of how great Des Moines is.
Right.
Des Moines put together stuff. She actually was the gal that brought in the horse feed and stuff from, what was it, Grimes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Are you going to be out this weekend for the show Thursday to Saturday?
Possibly. I didn't know he was going to be in town this weekend.
Well, I got to do better on my Facebook then, I guess.
I don't know. I don't think there's anybody in the country that does better on Facebook than you.
Me and Dave Hawk are probably the best at what we do.
Pretty much. That's a good point. I think that you guys got some sort of competition going to see how you can who can blow up stuff at 9:00 at night more than the other guy.
Hey, we also do it at 4 a.m.
That's true. That's true. Well, so Tracy, how are you a Blue Moon regular?
No, I've only been there a few times.
But see, and that's so a few times, and you met Pappy, and you know him well enough from those few times to call in and say what's up.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome.
That's awesome. Well, Tracy, thank you so much for calling.
Thanks.
See you later, Tracy.
So. And that's what we're talking about. That kind of that's what's really can be really fun about playing different places. And I got to imagine that I know what you're going to say, because I think that a contribution is sitting across the table from you. But what's some of the difficulties of being on the road? What makes being on the road tough sometimes?
I think it depends what you're you're going through in life at the times. I mean, I've seen guys that are going through divorces, and it's tough to watch them go through that. And then it's tough to be on stage with them while they're going through that, because and actually that can be rough. But I think missing a lot of what the kids do for me is probably the biggest one. You get tired of always not being able to go to people's weddings that you really love and care about. You get tired of missing the kids' football games and things like that. I would say that absence of those types of things are the downsides of doing what we do.
Just being apart from because I think that it's not an unfair statement to say that for pretty much everybody, even if you're in the entertainment industry or you are in business, you have to fly around the country a lot, but everybody has a home base or has a place that they go back to, and it can sometimes be more difficult than others to leave that home base and to strike back out on the road, even if it's fairly necessary. And for some folks who don't understand why a person would go out on the road and for nearly a year at a time and leave family behind, can you kind of explain some of the economics of those kinds of decisions, why musicians and entertainers have to do it?
I think for me it was, I challenge everybody that brings that up. They think that we're the ones that are gone all the time. And I would challenge that with, I know a lot of husbands out there that are trying to rise up in the corporate ranks or trying to better their, personal businesses. And if they're home on Sunday and get to spend time with the family, that's like, wow, holy Hosanna. So they're gone 6 days a week. And even if they're home, they're gone because they're out golfing with their buddies or they're sleeping in the room. the thing I liked about what I did is that when I come home, people think I only see the kids in the summer, but I'm flying back. We spend weekends together, and if they got a PTA Monday off, we're there and doing it. And I think it's economically, when what you do for a living dictates leaving. You got to do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think from a male perspective, it's different than it is for the female gals in the gig. For the female gals, it's tough, because they're still being caregivers for people in their homes. For the man, it's like, go off and hunt for 6 weeks and come back. It's that type of thing. But I see it being harder on the female piano players than the male ones.
And it makes what you said a second ago makes a lot of sense, because there are a lot of folks that have day jobs that stay home who are present without being present.
Absolutely.
And I think that can be just as sort of a problem. And so, Marco, would you agree with me if I kind of assumed that when your dad is home, it's all about dad and it's all about the kids for the time that he's home?
Yes. Like, my friends will always be calling me and, like, trying to ask if I'll come over, and, like, right away I always say no, because it's my time with my dad, and, like, I love to spend time with my dad.
That's awesome. So we're going to...
I paid him to say that.
well, I want a little bit of a chunk of that, because that was a heartwarming moment that's going to spike our numbers for sure. I want to just give a couple of shout-outs to some of the sponsors of this show in particular. We've got the Polk County GOP. I'm sure they've got some kind of event. They're going to have a booth at the fair, I would imagine. I don't know. That's more Doc's gig. I don't truck with those folks, and, well... I'm friends with the guy that gets me there. So, but no, Polk County GOP, they do a lot of work for Republican and I suppose other sort of conservative candidates around the state and around Polk County. Check them out. They've got a website. I'm sure I don't know it off the top of my head. I'm really bad plug for...
Might be polkgop.com.
It could, the polkgop.com. It's right there, 280-6438. See, that's why we have a producer, to save me from embarrassing moments like that. But also check out...
producer.
Check out Bertrosian Associates is another sponsor of the show. They are up there on Meredith, 5525 Meredith Drive in Urbandale. And if you get into a bind or you're having some sort of some issues, you can go and talk to the fine folks up there. That is where the doctor from Doc and Lefty hails from, and I know that he's helped a lot of people and provides excellent care. Another sponsor of the show is Labinas Law Firm. If you are needing legal services of any kind, primarily in the criminal or family law area, you can give us a call, 285-0462 if you are in Des Moines, and set up a free consultation, and we'll get you sorted out. But anyway, so we're talking about some of the challenges of being on the road and some of the necessities of being on the road. And I want to talk to you a little bit about just kind of what sort of personality, sort of what kind of heart do you have to be able to do this kind of work? Because I'm sure that it takes not a bad or good sort of person, but a different kind of personality to be able to be successful on the road.
Yeah, I think you become the person more than having it out of the gate, in the fact that, once you get a taste of this lifestyle, the money always helps, obviously, and I'm sure adoration plays a little bit of a part, not a lot for me. I appreciate it, but I think the gig creates you, because a lot of people come into the gig thinking they have, and I guess the thing that I've seen is people that really like redundancy do well in this, So if you like doing laps in a pool and you like running miles, if you like doing the same thing over and over every day, if you watch Groundhog Day and thought that was your life, this is probably for you.
Well, I think that's probably a pretty realistic statement. I've heard that sort of thing come out of a lot of dueling piano players' mouths before. But do you think that dueling pianos? What can you identify about the dueling piano gig where some people have a lot of success, some people struggle? What are the differences maybe in a person's makeup that would give them more success or less success at the dueling piano gig?
Well, dueling pianos is always changing, and it's always changed since it started. That's one of the things I'll be showcasing in my documentary that's coming up, because a lot of people have those types of questions, and that's a good question. Dueling pianos, oddly enough, is not all about the music. Music's only one part of it. There's an entertainment factor. There's a thick skin factor. There is a musician factor. But I think that the people that don't do well with it didn't identify and adapt to the changes. Either they didn't adapt to the music, they didn't adapt to the other dueling piano players on stage. And I think that's the thing that hurts some people from being able to do this gig year in and year out for a long period of time. We got some people in this gig that are just, pissed off because they didn't make it in Nashville. I mean, that's just the reality of the gig. I mean, there's the Nashville burnouts that, and then there's people we got in the gig that are in Nashville on the ascension trying to make it, and some people that are in this gig that this is their gig. So it's used in a lot of different ways. I kind of liken it to a wife, it's you either are married to this thing and you really love it and you're there for the long haul, or you're married to it, but every now and then you like to peek out and see if there's something else around the corner, and you have some mistresses like little projects and things like that, and that's what dueling pianos kind of becomes for some people. Some people it's a death sentence, some people it's great. And I think I think it's different for everybody. But the ones of us that do it regularly, that are in the top 20 all the time around the country, we have a heart for it. We really do.
So do you now, and if for the folks that have been out there, we probably should have started to sort of define sort of what we were talking about at the beginning of the show.
I can help.
I apologize, but if you've never been to a dueling piano performance, what should you expect? Put some butts in the seats.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, if you took a DJ and a comedian and you took a musician and a cover band and a house party, and you invited a lot of girls, and some of those girls were getting married, and you'd have dueling pianos. That's what dueling pianos is. It's a random free for all through a history of music, through laughs at the expense of your friends, and it's just a great time. I mean, it's just, you'll see a 25-year-old partying right next to a 60-year-old, and that's what's really special about it. It's such a unique business in that we're never going to be as famous or looked at as like comedians and absolute rock stars, but we do everything that the rock stars do without getting those big paychecks like they do. I mean,
that's kind of sad though, isn't it?
Depending on, we're like the professional minor league baseball players. I mean, we didn't get to the big show yet, but there's a need for us to entertain, and there are seats to get filled and drinks to get sold, because people will circle dates on our calendar for certain names.
Have there been folks that you have dueled with who have then gone on and gotten called up?
There's the call-ups that happen in the business. I know one gentleman that got called up in the business. He got called up actually playing in front of Billy Joel. He was playing at New York, and Vegas. Billy Joel came in, was impressed with what he was doing, sat in with him, and then invited him to New York, and he ended up doing his Broadway play for Billy Joel moving out. Since then, he's now, what's funny is Michael Cavanaugh is now a professional. He's basically doing dueling pianos, but now on a stage with a band, Right. They call it the songbook now,
Oh, sure.
But no, there's been guys, we've had a few that rose up pretty high in American Idols. There's been a couple that from Louisville and Michigan that rose up in American Idols and The Voice, but those would be the ones off the top of my head that have made it in that way,
That's very cool. We're going to take another short break. In the last segment, we're going to talk about the documentary that you are shooting. We're going to talk to Marco about his role in that a little bit more. And so stick around for the last segment, but we've got a little bit more to talk about. Webcast1live.com, Doc and Lefty, every Tuesday, 6 to 7 in Des Moines, Iowa. Thanks for listening.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Whether you're 10, 25, 50, 80 years old and beyond, everyone needs to live within their means. I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America. For almost a quarter of a century, we've helped people of all ages learn to manage their personal finances to benefit them far into the future. When problems arise, we've got the experience you need to make those debt problems go away. Got financial problems? Call Consumer Credit of America.
If Tom Coates from Consumer Credit of America was your personal webmaster, Tom would filter out all bad debt emails. If Tom was your mailman, you'd never get any debt reduction junk mail. If Tom Coates was a lineman, he'd block any phone calls offering to reduce your credit card debt.
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of America, and we're still your best choice for credit counseling. We're local, we're accountable, and we can do more. You make the call when the time's right for you.
When it comes to competition, there really is none for Consumer Credit of America.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is Lefty, still looking around for Doc. He's around here someplace, but no, that's not true. He's not here today. And when the Doc's away, Lefty talks music with some of his musical friends who had local band. That's sort of the big.
Do you want to ask me like one political question just so we can say we fit it in?
We don't. We don't need to.
Okay,
because
man.
if I asked you a political question, this would go for 2 hours, and we'd have to pay extra for the studio time. And Ryan's got things to do, I'm sure. Well, I guess, I mean, I will ask you, just the hot thing over the weekend, and doing a once-a-week show makes it tough to kind of be on top of all this stuff. But,
yeah, exactly.
But once a week, but over the weekend, Russia extended asylum to Edward Snowden, the sort of purported whistleblower, the WikiLeaks stuff. Have you followed that story at all? I mean, you've got the administration predictably is apoplectic about it. You got the Russians kind of saying, well...
That is the word of the day, by the way. We're going to spell that later for you, Marco. Apoplectic. That was very nice.
Thank you very much.
I tell you what, real quick, in all those, my attention span on a lot of political things, it's very tiresome in some respects, because as an entertainer who understands hooks and ladders and how they work, you kind of get fed up with how many hooks and ladders. Like, I've seen this play before. It's kind of like somebody that gets fed up with John Madden. You know, they're like, you still want to respect John Madden that he taught you football, but at the same token, you're just kind of like, oh man, I've heard it all before. I just think it's one of those things that, is anybody really surprised at any of this? I mean, is there anybody out there that's stunned here? I mean, asylum, the fact that this guy leaked, to me, there's just no surprises anymore. I mean, of course this happened.
Well, I guess for that's a fair point. I guess my perspective on it is just like, it's funny how it gets spun, because the first chance folks got, and you and I have had a long history of talking about the media and the political culture in the media and what's authentic and what's not, and why that, and what's difficult, and about sort of wading through all that stuff. But I found it interesting that this guy comes out, and immediately to a certain section of the population, he's an absolute hero. He's this whistleblower that, look at what this corrupt administration is doing. They are spying on us, and we don't know what's going on, even though they've been spying on us for a long time. Even before,
I've been hearing it since I was a kid.
Like the 50s.
There used to be the joke that you could have something in your toilet.
Yeah,
and the old joke was, no kidding, as a kid growing up, that they could see it, which was, I was always surprised they were missing people.
J. Edgar Hoover had his G-Men put an actual tape recorder, like the dual deck tape recorders, underneath Martin Luther King's bed.
Wow.
To record when they were investigating him for his communist associations. So this has been going on for long. So on the one hand, you're not surprised. On the other hand, then the more that comes out about this guy from other media outlets that are trying to defend the administration, or they look like they're defending the administration, now he's a guy that was going after things and got this job only to leak stuff. And is he really a whistleblower because he did it deliberately and all that stuff? But I don't know. It's just,
I think they're all good theatrical plays, and I think they play out, it's funny because, I wish people would tape record everybody's reactions around them the day something comes out and how they feel about it. Stop tape and then play it again in 1 month, and you will see dynamic differences. And it just goes to show, be patient, take in all the info you can, if you even care about this stuff. it's not that I'm saying that politics is in a light manner, because it is important to know about your country and what's going on. I'm not saying that just joke it all away, but there's so many times anymore. Isn't it a joke? Isn't it just a joke? There's no sides anymore.
Elliot Spitzer, Anthony Weiner, write your own material.
I mean,
but speaking of taping everybody all the time, you're shooting a documentary. So what's up with that?
The documentary is basically my foray into the film business, and it's a good litmus test for me to see if I even belong in the film business. But, they say shoot what you know, and I figure I've been doing dueling pianos long enough, and there's enough questions and enough interest in it that I think it would garner at least a good first project. So I started a principal photography here this fall, and I'll be filming piano players from all over the country, parts of the world, and I'll be collecting it together. I'll be going through the history of dueling pianos. I'll be going through the fun stories of band houses and all the things that you'd love to know about dueling pianos and some of the things that we touched upon in an entertaining way, just to make it something to put out there. And then I'm gonna tour around with it. Once I film it, I'm gonna take it on tour, and I'm gonna play in the places that I tour at.
How much footage have you got so far?
Well, I was doing mostly history collection, and be honest with you, this would be your favorite. I was in a lot of legality stuff, so it's not just simple legalities. But it'd be something fun to talk about maybe after the show today, or maybe have me back sometime. But it's funny how anything you want to do, use any picture, anything. I mean, there's a lot of paperwork that had to get done before I could shoot one bit of footage. But I've collected a lot of really neat, unique footage from. I've got the actual historical archive stuff from New Orleans, from the Pat O'Briens there, some 1970s footage of the original dueling piano ladies that started it all, and I've collected some different footage from Alley Cats, and people have volunteered the footage. They've mailed it in. I've had it emailed, snail mailed, the whole. I've collected quite a unique package, and now I'm gonna go hit it and put some of my own videotape. Maybe go find some more. Maybe go find some more stuff.
Right. So, Marco, what's your dad having you do with free family labor on this project so far?
I haven't started doing anything yet, but what I am going to be
doing this. He'll be holding this. This will be his pose right here. He'll be the gaff guy.
But later we're actually going to make another film that's called Zombie Pen Pal. It's going to be with all my brothers.
Nice, you plugged our little mini film.
Yeah, it is going to be a mini film, but it's not going to make theaters or anything. But it's just, it'll be fun. I'll be playing a role in that, and my brothers will.
So he's going to have a screen credit on the Zombie Pen Pal and a producer credit on.
Yeah. Well, he'll at least be a best boy or grip on this one. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So we're rapidly we're running out of time, and usually around this time of the show, I like to be able to allow people to plug the stuff, kind of talk about what you're doing. I'll plug my own thing and give you the last word on what
Sure.
you're doing. I've got I personally got some shows coming up, doing the solo thing. And I don't even remember, so I got to get my calendar up. So I apologize for looking away from you guys right now. But I'm doing a JDRF benefit at the Urbandale Hy-Vee on next Monday the 12th from 6 to 8. So I know that's for JDRF. It's a 4-course dinner. I think you can buy tickets to it. I'm not sure. You want to check out with the Urbandale Hy-Vee whether or not you can just come if you're not in that particular organization. Then the 14th at one of my favorite bars, the Flying Moose in Clive, doing a gig there from 7:30 until they kick me out. And then this coming Saturday, I'll be playing for a little bit at my friend Ed Bull, who is the current Marion County attorney. He's kicking off his re-election campaign on the 17th, and so from 6 to 8, if you want to get involved in Marion County politics, it's the county south and east of Des Moines. Come down and check out his tailgate. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I got some other gigs coming up, but we're running out of time. So Pappy, what we talked about earlier in the show, but what are you doing this week here in Des Moines, and what do you got coming up?
Wednesday, I have the Pappy Show, which is my solo show, and so it makes it a little more. I get to be a little more liberal with that, and. Liberal, I'm just saying in the sense.
We like that here. That's okay.
But yeah, I'm going to do the solo show there, and then I get to play with Oren Sands from Florida. I get to play with Pete Moran from Pittsburgh and share the stage with those amazing guys Thursday through Saturday. We're going to rock it out, and it's going to be a heck of a show. I mean, you talk about three characters. That'd be three characters right there.
That is true. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Pappy Sorellis, for coming in. Thank you, Marco, for coming in. It's been a lot of fun. I hope that you guys had a good time. Certainly glad to have you in Des Moines. And if I didn't keep you too long, you probably get over to Simon S. and see Blues Traveler, because I know they're playing tonight.
Oh!
Yeah, they are. But thank you so much for listening, everybody. Doc will be back next week. I'm sure we'll have plenty of stuff to chew over. You've been listening to Doc and Lefty on webcast1live.com. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Twitter, probably. All the different things that people have to say now. You can see us on YouTube in a few hours. Webcast1live.com. We broadcast live 6 to 7 on Tuesdays in downtown Des Moines. Thank you so much, and we really appreciate you guys staying with us. We'll see you next week.
Hi, I'm Representative Tom Shaw, and I love these guys. Both of them.
Love these guys. Get over here. Get over here. Love both of them.